everyone, Kimber Schaefer here with Rage in the Cage OKC News, and we are here at Wilshire Gun Range, sponsored for Rage in the Cage 49, which is going down December 16th. And Ken Coulter, I mean, it wouldn't be a Rage in the Cage card without Ken Coulter. You are, obviously, Ken, I followed you from day one. You and I started our careers for Rage in the Cage the same day, same night. So I enjoy these interviews. We've done a lot of them. So we're gonna do something a little bit different today. And let's kind of go through your history of fights and talk about your best MMA moment. Can we start there? Can you think of anything? I'm putting him on the spot for sure.
Easily the first belt I ever won. That's gotta be it. I revenged my loss against Jose Martinez and came back to win the belt in a pretty convincing fashion. So I guess bar none, it's gotta be that for sure, winning that belt.
Was that kind of redemption for you?
Yes, ma'am, it was, because like Jose pretty much handled me that whole 20-minute fight, and so, you know, once again, got a little humbled up and learned a little bit more about myself in the sport, and I also learned that I have a spot, that I belong in the sport.
Did that first loss, I mean, you went all your amateur career and then, you know, finally got that loss. Do you think that changed you as a fighter, and really, did it teach you something more than a win would have taught you?
Yes and no. Kind of like the Rousey effect, you know? So it was one of those things to where I felt like I had to win, and probably should have worked harder instead of like winning go to my head like it did. It didn't like change how I acted. It just changed the way I thought of fighting. It was just like, oh, we're gonna go in here, we're gonna get this win, get in, get out. And it was a different story. It was a 20-minute brawl, and I, you know, for the first time in my career, did not get my hand raised, and so it's kind of like, you know, a rude awakening, so to say.
What about your worst moment in your MMA career so far?
Any one of my losses, hands down. I just hate losing. I do not like losing, and so from here on out, I mean, we push ourselves to the limit, so that way no fighter can push me there. So from here on out, hopefully we don't have any of those feelings, because I don't want to lose anymore.
Do you feel like, when, I know that there's times in your fight career where there's been a lot of negative talk and people really coming at you in the back and forth and that sort of stuff, do you think that that pushes you to a win, to a victory?
Not so much the negativity, more or less just the doubt, fueled by doubt. And negative things I kind of got to let fall aside, because that's not really what I want to turn the cheek to. I want to make sure that I'm focused on the positive, like being graced to be able to go out and put on shows, stuff like that. So the noise talking and stuff for me is just kind of one of those things I'm not going to use in my career. I don't think I need it. I'm just going to come out and fight.
How do you keep yourself positive and upbeat and in this career when sometimes there are a lot of stuff coming at you from different directions, and you're just trying to manage your own personal life, you know, your family, your work, your church, and your fight career, and how do you stay positive and keep this fun?
Really just you know, turn my cheek to our Lord and Savior, and stay in church several times a week, and remember that it's truly a blessing to give and receive, and kind of just base my life on that, and just live according to, you know, kind of like practice what you preach, so to say.
What have you learned most in your MMA career so far?
Stay humbled or be humbled.
What about some tough lessons? I mean, what have you learned about yourself that maybe you don't like so much that you really had to work on?
I can tend and kind of just get a little crazy and wild, and I need to stay more technical and remember my training and just not get caught up in the madness of fighting and everything. And,
you know, obviously there's been some talk out there that you that you may be ready to go on to the next level. And so what do you think you need to do, Ken, to get there? I mean, you continue to fight the best of the best. You did that in your amateur career, I mean, from day one, and you've done that in your pro career. I mean, what more do you think you need to do to prove yourself?
Make sure we make weight every fight, and also continue to not just train for change, but make sure that I'm showing in my performances in the cage that I'm actually evolving and not being the same fighter I was, you know, the last fight or a year ago.
Now, you know, you did mention about making weight, and I know that's been a big thing, and I haven't even asked you about that. So this time, how are you doing it differently to make sure that you do come in on weight?
Just kind of treating it a little bit different, and as of course, it's probably number one on my agenda, because I'm not worried about fighting. We all know I'm going to show up and fight, so I just want to show respect to my opponent in the sport and just make weight and, you know, be a professional about it.
Well, and I know that that's really important to you, and a lot of people have said how unprofessional it is to not make weight. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely, 100%. But sometimes things go that you can't control, and especially me walking around, like I only walk around about 160 or so, and so fighting at 55 is an easy weight cut. And when I actually have to start cutting weight to make 45, it's like a whole new game changer for me. So it's just kind of pros and cons, learning what to do, what not to eat, and stuff like that, and just sticking to my diet and making sure my training regimen all goes in line, and just making that weight and getting in there and putting on the show the best I can.
Have you gotten some good nutrition advice? I know you come from a great gym and a lot of good weight cutters, so has that kind of played a...
I have got good advice. I've also educated myself along the line. So, I mean, it's just really just putting my plan in action and just making sure that it never happens again, because at the end of the day, I'm not going to be known for missing weight. I'm going to be known for going in there and leaving it all on the line. So you just kind of got to make sure your legacy is what you want to be remembered, and making weight is very important. So you will.
You know, I have to say that I have a lot of respect for you, Ken, and I've always been very open and honest about that. And even when people, you know, say that I shouldn't, I have a lot of respect for you, because to me, anytime I've called you on something, you admit to it, you say where you're wrong, and you know, you apologize. And I feel like that's what you're doing to your fans and fighters that you've missed weight on. I mean, I didn't even mention it, you did. And so to me, that's just a way of kind of saying I'm sorry and I'm going to do better.
Well, it's kind of just letting you know what's been weighing on my heart. It hasn't been like the madness on social media. It's really just been me letting my fans down, and my opponents that I'm fighting. Well, it's like I respect them, so I don't want to show any sign of disrespect, because I feel like I'm a true martial artist, and it's made for, you know, respect and discipline. So I need to go out and I need to act like a professional.
Wow. I mean, I appreciate that so much. I appreciate you bringing that up and just making that promise to yourself and your fans and your opponents that, you know, you're going to be on point. So I appreciate that. Anything else that you want fans to know about you, yourself? And then obviously you're fighting another guy from R1 this time. So it seems like the past several fights, it's been somebody from that gym.
Well, typically because they're a good trained gym. I know I'm going to get a quality fighter out of R1. So I don't think anything else of it besides we're just one of the top gyms along, you know, American Elite and, you know, my home gym, Academy of Martial Arts. I mean, I feel like we're the best of the best along with Solid. There's some other ones, but I feel like you can only go to, if it's a small pool, you have to fight what's best for you. And in order for me to get the attention of those who are higher up, I got to fight opponents who can fight. So I guess I'll be seeing more of R1.
It makes perfect sense. I mean, it really does. And so, and I agree. And I said this earlier in the interview, you've never shied away from a tough fight. And that is a gym that puts out some of the toughest fighters in Oklahoma. So it makes complete sense. And so I appreciate you being here today for pre-fight interviews. And any final shout outs or anything you want to say about yourself before we head on out?
Head coach Kendrick Coleman, truly a blessing. The man has so much passion, and no matter where I'm in the gym or where I'm at training, I can constantly hear him in my head. Come on, give me some more. That's all you got. Give me some more. So, and Jason White, my striking trainer, as well as helping me out with everything else. And then, of course, Interlink Diagnostics, Little Troopers, and everybody else from Team Coulter. Truly a blessing. Thank you guys, and God bless.
All right, I know one thing, these fans out there will be truly blessed as well if they come on over to Rage in the Cage 49 going down December 16th. Of course, as always, you can get tickets from any fighter on the card. I'm pretty sure Ken Coulter has some to sell. Or you can get them at Ticketstorm.com. So we hope to see you there.